Hey guys, I am back and I am here to show you what I've been working on. It's kind of a little bit of a mess right now, but this is going to be the first room. I have the border completely done. This right here, I finally got the door frame put the way I wanted it. I used rock beads to kind of do an overhang. Use these to kind of give it a little bit of a disheveled but finished look. I ran out of putty, so I can't do the putty trick, or I would have. I did cover the top part here with some cardstock paper to kind of finish off that edge. Same thing with this, and I did put these across the top. There you go. So you can see, I tried to make it look as neat as possible. This was a beast to work on. In here, I was testing it out and also doing repair. This one was sent to me by Real Bobby from Nova Scotia. Thank you for that. He's going to be in here. I'm debating on highlighting by painting some of the details on him to kind of make him even cooler as a statue, but we'll see how that goes. So, doorway on the other side only has this as far as decorations go on the top, but this is the finished room as far as I can tell. I'm debating on putting a border down here as sort of a I guess you'd call them baseboard for the bottom. However, I'm not sure if I'm going to do that because it does tend to shift a little and I haven't quite finished getting it set up. I was going to put this board on. This is the next floor. I was looking into painting this and then I decided I don't think I want to do that effort right now. I also don't have enough of the paper because I messed up on one of them. But the decal to put here, can't really do that. I was trying to attach it over here. Let me carefully turn this around and I'll show you what I'm talking about. But when you line up the edges, I don't know how well you can see it, the holes don't match. I tried creating my own hole in here and it poked through the other side on the floor. This side right here, you might be able to see a little better that the hole doesn't line up. So again, I was going to try using my husband's, see if I can get it, there we go. Yeah, the holes don't line up right there. I was going to use my husband's drill, but then this thing just started sliding, wouldn't stay in place. And I can't put the other end until I put this one, and up here add the third floor. You do those first, then you add that side. So I'm gonna wait for my engineer to come home and possibly help me figure out how to do that. But in the meantime, this is going to be the second floor, one of the rooms that has a gold wall on this side. And then on this side, there's the brownish red is gonna go on this side. And I did another marbled look thanks to my mother-in-law who sent me those two decals. I was able to add those in. So, I'm just going to place that on top. That is what I'm looking at right now. When I get my husband to help me with the connecting, I'm going to start on the back panel that goes for the back wall up there, so we can create the next two rooms. But that's where I'm at. And then my daughter suggested that for this room, she says we should totally do a room with various landmarks. She thinks that's what should go here. So I am going to build little displays. I have this one for New York. I have the pyramids of Giza. I have 3 of those. I also am going to be adding this to my laboratory soon. And then I have this one from Portugal. This one's going to go in there. The top part, whatever it had up there, is broken off. So I'm probably going to just... First, I'm going to look it up and find out what's supposed to be on top. And then second of all, I'm going to probably end up painting it if I can't recreate it. It looks like it had been broken and then re-glued, because there's a crack through it and it's slightly off. So I might just wing it and either paint it or try to recreate whatever's supposed to go on top. But she said we should decorate this room with various things like this. And I think I'm going to try... Oh yeah, I also have the Eiffel Tower there. So yeah. I was debating on making a shelving unit and then having them go across and then possibly some on a lower end. And I want to create little placards or signs for each one. But this is what we have talked about, making this room in here. A sort of places around the world type display. So, that's where we're at. I will be back whenever I can update it with more stuff. See you next time. Okay, I know I can't put in the shelves just yet, but I wanted to get an idea of what type of shelving I could potentially do. So, had this one. This came from a music box that I took apart because I like the wood pieces and I didn't really want it for the music box itself. It just needs a paint job. It had the hole in it, which won't work for a shelf, and it was also a bunch of glue and indentions. So I took this hard cardboard piece that came from, I want to say like a magnet that had a calendar on it that we had on our fridge. And I cut off the piece to fit inside to make it more level out. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up, probably paint over it, at least the parts that'll be visible. And then I'm debating on using some of the leftover decal to put a marbled look on the shelf itself. And then these are going to be on the walls in here so that we can... That one won't fit. That one's too wide. Okay, well... Alright, well there's one. I might put this in another room then, since only one of them so far is fitting on it. And then the second one I want to build, this came from a wood kit that the kids had. After a while, they decided they no longer wanted it. And I took it apart for the wood pieces. So this, with the holes, I didn't think it would work very well. So I cut another piece of that cardboard to fit. I'm going to glue that on top. This one might work better. Yeah, it fits a lot better for these. Yeah, might even be able to fit this one on. Nope, too big. Okay, so those will go on the floor. But I'm going to create shelves using this, and then once I've glued it together with my super glue, I'm then going to, after it dries, go and paint over it. And that'll create a nicer looking shelf. I have another board that came from the same kit. This one doesn't have the holes in the middle, so it's just going to go as is once I paint over it or decorate it the way I want it to be. But I'm going to put shelves in here along this wall, and I think along the back wall, so that I can display the various pieces. So that's the plan. Let's see how the outcome looks.